perhaps exacerbated by social and national media attention. These cases have in common a tight-knit social group with a constrained physical location, the occurrence of a single index case that launches the contagion, and the fact that many of the symptoms, among them dizziness and involuntary motor movements, also manifest during states of acute anxiety. Human beings are so social that we can literally make ourselves sick just by observing others, the symptoms spreading from one person to the next by the power of ideas alone. These hysterical contagions are rare, but vivid instances of emotions and ideas diffusing from one body to another, one mind to another, are not. We are by nature deeply social animals. In this book, we'll see just how ingrained that sociality is, to the point where we catch thoughts and moods and, yes, even panic attacks from one another as easily as we exchange cold viruses in midwinter. We synchronize our thoughts, our moods, and our brain activity. In this book, we'll tackle both the mechanisms and the implications of this synchronicity using psychology, neuroscience, history, anthropology, literature, and philosophy. Of course, we don't synchronize with all members of humanity equally. We preferentially harmonize with people who are close to us by birth, location, and shared culture, whether that culture is writ large, at the macro level of entire societies, or small, at the micro level of groups that help form our multi-layered identities. For example, ethnicity, political party, and even sport fandoms. These tribal tendencies toward forming in-groups can shape our most cherished traditions and moments, but they can also lead to tensions with out-groups that can have devastating consequences. To unite all of this research on our hyper-social, groupish natures, I use the metaphor of the hive mind. It is not my metaphor. The notion of a hive mind, a group sort of consciousness and/or collective body of knowledge, has long been discussed in both academic settings and in common parlance. But before we go further, I'd like to spell out what the hive mind means to me in the framework of this book. For one, the hive mind refers to the extent to which we are capable of entering a state of mind that is more collectively focused, in which we share attention and goals and emotions. At times, we may even experience an expansion of our consciousness to incorporate our social others. Footnote: well, depending on your definition of consciousness, they don't call it the hardest problem for nothing. As positive psychologist Barbara Fredrickson once said, emotions are not bounded by skin. It isn't that one person's emotions affect the other. The two people are sharing the emotion. Footnote: as I scribbled this down at a conference talk rather than recording it and transcribing it, my apologies to Barbara Fredrickson if I didn't get the quote exactly right. Second, hive mind also refers to the principle that what we know and feel is not determined in a vacuum of independent experiences and decisions, but rather is shaped by the collective. Our synchronicity means that ideas and fashions and ways of interpreting the world have their own sort of life outside the individual people who contribute to it, something 18th to 19th century German philosophers called the Zeitgeist, or spirit of the times. We'll discuss a psychological concept called appraisals, which are interpretations or stories about the world, and we'll see both how the hive mind influences the appraisals we make and how, in turn, the appraisals we choose shape our very reality. The hive mind collectively decides what is true, what is proper, what is normal, what is cool, and what is important. But it isn't just positive and negative judgments that are shaped by the hive mind. Rather, the hive mind is also critical in shaping our perception of the world, in building our consensus reality. Our deeply entrenched sociality has always been with us, but the advent of both smartphones and social media may be sharply escalating our synchronicity. We are at a watershed moment, for these new technologies have not only allowed us to access a world of information and communication, but have also ushered in a revolution in our social functioning. We are suddenly able to access the thoughts and emotions of our social partners at all hours of the day and night, to see their lives.